What's good? What's good? Thursday is the last day at my day job, and so I feel like now I can just out the name of the company. I've avoided using the name just because I wanted to have that differentiation between the company and my views and my beliefs, etc. But, now I can say screw them. And there's actually a funny story I want to tell in connection with all of this, but first I will just say I spent the last almost 2 years, not 2 full years, but we'll just say 2 years working for the Tractor Supply Company. I started as a team member, and then I got moved into an assistant manager position, and so I've spent the last year as an assistant manager. I helped open a new store. I helped open multiple stores, but the most recent store I opened as an assistant store manager. And so I've seen from the very bottom of the company up through some of how the corporate entity works. Being an assistant manager, I deal more with the corporate side of things than a regular team member does. And so I can tell you, yes, the company is going woke. But are you surprised? I'm more surprised that other people are surprised, because if you haven't learned by now, any publicly traded company is going to go woke, because most publicly traded companies are primarily owned by private equity firms and essentially the ruling class of people that I always talk about. There are some individual investors, and some people have some of their own stock and whatnot, but even like your 401k, even that is held in stocks and it's managed by these equity firms, these capital management companies, part of the whole banking corrupt institution that I also often talk about. And it's interesting, I'm an anarcho-capitalist, and so I really don't think the stock market should be a thing in its current iteration. The only reason it is a thing in its current form is because we have the government, which creates these legal entities known as corporations, and then these corporations get special protections, and then there's that collusion between the politicians and the executives of these corporations. So when I talk about fascism and what we're living through, this is quite literally it. And so any publicly traded company at this point is going to be subject to the ESG objectives being put forward by the private equity firms, but then, in cahoots with these non-governmental organizations, NGOs, non-governmental agencies, NGAs, things like the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and be happy. All of this is connected. The ESG, if you don't know, emotional social goals that corporations are expected to strive to achieve. Not emotional, I'm sorry. Environmental and social goals. So this climate BS, which is so funny. I'm not going to get on that right now. But then also social activism goals and objectives, equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh yeah, Tractor Supply has absolutely been pushing that crap. They want more women in leadership. So they're putting women who might not necessarily actually belong in positions into positions of leadership just so they can say they have the representation. And that's with all these companies. Merit no longer matters. What matters is identity. So if you really care about putting your money where your values are, shop at your local farm and feed store. Let me just tell the story of what happened. So I was at work yesterday. Oh no, there's a whole nother element I have to touch base on. Tractor Supply is getting into some hot water with conservatives because it is coming to light that they have been funding various LGBT alphabet community activities, drag shows, even maybe some gender transition things, the corporate training around inclusivity and all that other stuff. So this is coming to light, and it's true. And also, I haven't actually followed up on this, but I saw it was Benny Johnson, some guy, was doing a video on Hal Lawton, the CEO of Tractor Supply, is apparently in favor of vaccine mandates. He had liked a post or something by someone sort of advocating for vaccine mandates, which is, sort of inferring a little bit, but of course he does, because he's all part of that group. He doesn't care about his employees. These people are fake and evil. Okay, let me get back on subject. So, I was at work, answered the phone, because I just answer the phone sometimes. Tractor Supply, how can I help you? Customer on the other line, yeah, I heard that you guys are a leftist company now. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then they hung up, or they said, well, they cut me off before I could say more, and they said, well, I'm disappointed, and hung up. And it sounded like somebody in their 30s to 40s, maybe 20s to 50s, but we'll say 20s to 50s. And if they would have let me finish, I would have said I'm leaving the company. I don't support those values. I encourage you to spend your money at a local feed store and support your local community. Stop supporting these fucking corporations. And he didn't even let me hang up. But then I thought to myself, what a dick move. Like, I totally get it if you don't want to support the company, but you're calling what is likely a minimum wage paid cashier. I make more than minimum wage, but most often a cashier would answer the phone. To vent your grievances and be rude and hang up on them, what the fudge are they gonna do? Like, that was just a dick move on their part. I get that you're upset, but just do something more productive with it. That's a bitch move there. If you see this, that was a bitch move. So anyways, let me just wrap up the video. That's what happened. And yeah, I'm surprised that you're surprised that Tractor Supply is going woke. And if you're just now learning about all of this, I would encourage you to explore the fascist nature of the ESG goals and how the corporations are colluding with our corrupt government officials to create this mess that we're in that's only going to get worse until the people wake up and stand up, until they get involved, until they get active, until they begin to not comply with the bullcrap bureaucratic mandates and all of this. There are so many ways that we can begin to stand up. But first, we need more people to wake up. I should start making a list of ways to stand up, though. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Internet. Thank you all. You gave me that idea. That wasn't mine. It was you, because I have this outlet to vent. So, research, World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, the ESG objectives. Get informed. Get active. Much love.